Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 420. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
Hi, I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Thursday,
December 20th,
Yep.
2018.
We're super procrastinators. You give us any reason to put off recording, and we will just grab it.
We were both sick earlier this week.
Yeah.
And we had some unexpected things happen.
Well, it wasn't unexpected for me.
Wow.
But
it was unexpected for me.
Laura's boss called me last week, which is unusual because Laura's boss is a high school principal. And
Middle school principal. I
sorry,
work in a middle
you're
school.
right. Middle school principal.
Not where your son goes to school.
No. I went to high school with him. That's why in my head it's mixed up. Anyway, he asked me for Laura's parents' phone number because the number he had wasn't working. It just kept going to voicemail and nobody would call him or answer the phone. And I gave him Wheezy's number, and he's like, yeah, that's the number I've got. I'm not sure why it's not working. I had to get in touch with Wheezy and say, would you please answer this man's call? Because Laura won Teacher of the Year for her school this year for 2018/2019. And her boss was trying very hard to make it a surprise, but he's not the most subtle gentleman out there. So he did let a couple of hints drop. I did not tell Laura. I kept it a secret for like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, you did a good job keeping it a secret. I'm also the type of person who can make a conspiracy theory out of anything.
This is fact.
So, when he came and asked me where my parents lived, and then later in the day, that girl who is my best friend, who he went to school with, name was currently, then I kind of got an inkling that something was going on.
Yeah.
Because it was very back to back.
Yeah, it was not like came up casually in conversation.
No. It's just not.
So Laura's parents drove in the night before and stayed with some friends of theirs, and then an hour after Laura got the award, they were back on the road.
Yeah, they did not. I offered to let them stay for the night. Nope, they had stuff to do. Wheezy's still in PT for his knee replacement, so they had stuff to, and they're going up to Philadelphia on Friday, so
to be with the girls.
A lot of driving going on for sure.
Yeah, I felt like if Mama Lemon was the only one that came, she would have
still be here.
Out of.
She would have just driven like it all straight probably on Friday.
Yeah,
but
anyway, so Laura, that came on Tuesday, and so
it did. And Tuesdays typically were when we record.
Yeah.
But I also had this lovely chest congestion going on.
This is better. But
yeah, this is better for sure. And this is medicated, which is super fun as well.
Also, if you listen to this podcast with earbuds in, just FYI, as Laura coughs, it's not something she can control. It gets loud during that. So
that's true.
Just
sorry, guys.
Be aware. All right, so knitting. This is a knitting show usually.
It is.
Do you want to go?
Sure. So I am currently knitting I'm currently pretty far behind on my Christmas knitting. Because I keep adding things to my list.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's always how it works, though. So I'm still working on the socks for my brother-in-law. This is still the first sock. I'm gonna really hardcore. I've gotten rid of all my other obligations except for this and one more mitt for my grandmother. So this is basically it. I still haven't chosen a heel on it. I think I am gonna do the Wendy Johnson toe up with gusset because I feel like that fits the most like a traditional heel flap heel. So I need to get this to like 8 inches, 8.5 inches, and then I'll
and where are you now?
I'm at 7.5. So like 2 more.
Well, a stripe and then some.
Yeah. So that's what I'm working on today. It is Lollipop Yarns in the Beefcake base, and the colorway is Troublemaker. And hopefully, it looks like I'm definitely gonna have enough, and then I'll have this extra gray ball for heels and toes of my next Lollipop yarn skein, or another sport weight sock base. I'm really enjoying it. I love Joan's color sense. I've just not really had time to work on it because Tuesday was my last day at work, and we did the secret gift exchange, and I had presents for people and so on. So that's the one thing still on my needles, and that's hanging out in my fat squirrel bag. And then this is new. I don't think you guys have seen this yet. Yeah, you definitely haven't.
No.
This is a ribbed beanie that I started on Tuesday. It is for one of my coworkers, but he'll be fine getting it whenever. It is out of a couple years ago when I was super into Plucky. I did like their grab bags where they would just send you'd pay like $100 and they would send you like 5 skeins. And you never knew what they were, but it was worth more than that. And so I got this worsted weight yarn. It's actually a bulky. It's called Snug. And I'm knitting it on size 8 needles. And I'm doing a pattern called the Ribbed
Beanie by Woolly Wormhead.
Yeah, Ribbed Beanie by Woolly Wormhead. And I can't tell you the colorway because I've lost the tag. It's around 108 yards, so I'm going to see the pattern, the sample, I think she used like 90 yards. So I did cast it on once on the large size, and I thought that this was an Aran weight, and it's really a bulky weight. So then I went down, I think I cast on the 72 stitch size, because that looked more like a human head size.
I was going to say, that looks like a normal.
So, I'm going to go ahead and knit this until it runs out of yarn. I still have a good bit left.
It looks like something I would want to use.
Yeah, it's a nice base. So it's.
Do they still make it? That's the thing.
I don't think so.
Because Plucky changes bases so frequently.
But you could probably get it on a D-stash for sure. It's a merino, alpaca, cashmere base. With a fairly tight twist.
Yeah, I like the roundness of it. Like the ply structure.
If I had more, I would give it to you.
That's
but
okay.
This was like a random one-off skein that I had.
What's it called again? Snug?
Snug. And it does come in like a worsted and like a fingering weight as well, I believe. But, yeah. I'm trying to move some older yarns out of my stash a little bit. So I thought that was a good project. And the patterns actually, Woolly Wormhead has on her website a whole section of free patterns.
Oh, is it?
So it's actually a free pattern. It's a pretty simple rib. And that's also living in... Leslie's looking at Plucky Snug now.
I'm just curious if they still make it is all.
So, yeah. It's living in another fat squirrel. This is my Christmas bag that I got, I think, last year or the year before. So, do they sort by base? Yeah, they still make it.
Bulky.
Yep. It's a 70% merino, 20% cashmere, 10% royal alpaca, 110 yards for $30.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
It's pretty.
I don't know that I would get the wintry mix colorway.
Well, no, but...
You know. And then the last thing... No, we already did this bag. My goodness. I'm a hot mess. The last thing that I have... in regards to Christmas knitting, so all 3 of these are Christmas knitting, but I'm not going to see Chad until I get back
is that who
to
that's
school.
For?
Yeah. So, he's probably coaching basketball over break. I might text him and see when he'll be up at school next. Or I have to go up to school and I might just swim by the gym.
Do the basketball kids practice over break?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I practiced over break when I played basketball.
I did. I mean, I did over summer break for band, but
yeah,
never winter break.
Well, it's their season. So this is say that name for me.
Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky, the guy who wrote the Nutcracker. Mitts by Helen Stewart. This was part of her,
Knit Vent?
Yeah, Knit Vent last year. And it's basically, a mitt. It doesn't have a thumb. For some reason I missed that because I didn't read through the pattern. I love the fact that she uses a checkoff sheet for her pattern, so you know exactly what percentage you are in. I did have to shorten the length of this so the whole you just knit back and forth, and I shortened that and started knitting back in the round by like 4 rows because I felt like it was pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
And I shortened then the whole mitt length by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows because otherwise. But I'm pretty sure my gauge is not accurate.
Well, I'm sure that it's a good size.
Yeah.
It's got a subtle texture, kind of like Hermione's everyday socks. It's
That's
a very subtle.
Exactly. It's got every once in a while pearl stitch texture on it. So it works well with this yarn, which is Medellin Tosh DK, their single one. And I got in a web scrap bag. I like how it's got the garter detail on the, where you put your thumb. So it does look like it's intentional. And the twisted rib. Well, if I was to do it again, maybe I'd do like a twisted rib edge there.
I probably would have done an I-cord edge. Oh, yeah. Just because I like the clean look of it.
You can also slip stitch there.
Yeah.
Huh. So many options. But, so the first one's done, and I just cast on the second. I'm using size 3 needles and size
3 needles for DK.
6. Yeah, their DK is more of a worsted, I feel like, too.
Yeah, it's a pretty chunky.
Mm-hmm. So 3s for the ribbing, which is a twisted ribbing, and 6s. The beanie I told you guys was on size 8s, and then the 20-inch, which I really like for hats. Addie makes 20 inches.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just every once in a while you can find them. But if your local yarn shop carries Addie's, they'll probably order them in for you. I know House of Yarn will, if you call them. And then, I should tell Meg that I said that. And then, the socks were on size 1s, because they're a DK weight for me. So, yeah. Just a little bit of work to go. Still got time. It's not Christmas yet.
I feel like you've made so much progress this week, and I've made none.
Well, I don't really have a whole lot to show because I gave so much stuff away that it feels like I haven't made a ton of progress. But we'll get there. I feel like we will get there. Alright, I'm going back, even though I want to knit on that hat, it doesn't have a deadline like these socks do. So I'm going back to the socks. I'm being a responsible adult. What are you knitting on? You're knitting on socks too.
I am, but I'm knitting on the same sock I've been knitting on for a month.
No, not a month. You just cast it on like a week and a half ago.
That is not true. These have
2
been
weeks
cast
ago,
on
maybe.
For at least a couple of weeks, probably longer.
Is that the first one?
This is the first one.
Okay.
So this is Knitspin Farms Targy Base. It's a sport weight. No, it's fingering weight. And this is her Unconventional Holidays collection. This is like Nacho Day, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like guacamole, blue corn chips, salsa, all the different colors.
She's very smart.
Yeah. So I think last time I had just turned the heel, maybe.
You got some progress.
And so I've knit a little bit, but I mean, not a ton.
You were knitting on something at my house last night that you ripped out, right?
So again, this is Knitspin Farm. It's fingering weight. I'm knitting it on size 2.25 millimeter needles. I was knitting at Laura's house, my father's longtime girlfriend.
Oh, that's right.
When I got back from SSK, I had all my tried on room stuff in a big IKEA zip bag thing, and they came over for something. My dad and his girlfriend came over for something, and she had remarked on something I made once, and I don't remember what it was, but I was like, oh, while you're here, let's go through this. If you see anything you like, you can, take it with you.
Yeah.
She went through the whole thing, and there was nothing. She didn't like anything.
Oh. That's very sad.
Yeah.
But she only likes purple, and she only wants a shawl, right?
Well, she only likes purple. She didn't necessarily say she only wants a shawl, but she is an older white woman and wears wigs to make her hair look nice and full body. Oh. So hats aren't really a thing that she's interested in. Neither are cowls, because it would have to contend with the wig to get it on and off.
Wig,
yeah. Luckily, she doesn't care anything about crafting, so she'll never watch this. But that's why I was thinking shawl. And yeah. I cast on several things and ended up ripping them all out. And then the people at Knit Night ruined what I was working on last night, because they kept telling me my purple yarn was brown.
It did look. It was a purpley brown.
Yeah, I mean, it was a purpley brown, but now I can't use it because it's not purple enough.
It would have been fine.
So, anyway, I've got an alternative plan for that. But aside from that, I worked on Uma a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Not as much as I should have. Because I really want this to be finished because I'm really excited about working with this yarn.
And it's cold out now.
But it's just such a big, unwieldy thing at the moment that I'm being lazy.
So how much more do you have to go on it? Do you think?
I don't know. Underarm to hip for me is somewhere like 17 for a length I like.
And that's a good. You've gotten a good bit.
Maybe
right it's like 8.
I think that's closer to 10. No. Where's the thing?
The thing being the tape measure. So ridiculous.
It is.
Oh, it is. It's like 10.5.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So 10.5 from the underarm now.
So 6.5. Not
yeah, I might need it to be longer. I need to measure where it's supposed to hit.
Does it have like ribbing at the bottom?
I don't remember.
You can always try it on because it's top down.
I don't have the pattern with. Oh, do I? Is this it? Yeah, it is. Let's see.
Oh, there's pockets on that too. Are you gonna do the pockets?
Yeah. I don't know if they're afterthought pockets or what. Neckband, sleeve cap, join sections, make pocket openings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're supposed to knit until it's
17.5.
Sorry, I was trying to see what. Yeah. I'm supposed to knit until it's around 18-ish inches before I make the openings for the pockets. So it's a...
It doesn't look that long on her.
It doesn't look that long on her. I'll have to go and look at other people's project notes. So you do the pockets along with the rest of the body. Make pocket openings. 3, 4. The hem ribbing. Yeah, you do work ribbing for 1.5 inches at the bottom.
Wow, so that's like closer to 20 inches. That is a long cardigan because for me, 20 inches is...
Yeah.
What I usually, and you and I are much different
we have
shaped people.
Torsos. Laura has a much longer torso than I do. And that's not like an avoidance of the fat word. It's just I'm much rounder and squatter than Laura is.
Well, you're like 5'2",
3.
Okay, I was gonna say 5.
Yeah.
And
Laura's 6 foot. So anyway,
there's a difference there.
So I knit maybe 2 inches since the last time that you guys saw it. Again, this is Uma by Chic Knits, and this is out of Harrisville Tweed Nightshades in the 20
dashboard.
Is it? No. 1257 colorway. Like time 1257.
Gotcha. Oh look, it's up on the show.
Yeah,
notes.
that's
those things that we keep to help us remember
for reasons
things.
like this. This is the collar part where you have to tack it down later. The part that was really confusing at the beginning.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Holly was struggling with her Chic Knits pattern that she's knitting yesterday.
Holly is in our local knit group, and she brought over her finished Parallelograys hat by
gorgeous.
Kino Knits, I think. And so pretty. And she gave me the leftover yarn that she used so that I could knit the same thing.
There you go.
Because she's awesome that way.
She's very sweet.
So, yeah. Working on this. This is probably going to be what I take with me to Laura's this weekend while we watch Fresh Paint.
Yeah,
Skin Wars,
so there's a new
Paint.
Skin Wars, which we've enjoyed before. It's a reality TV body painting competition. Mm-hmm. There's 3 seasons on Netflix, and then they started this new thing called Fresh Paint, which is like people who have artistic backgrounds. It's kind of like Nailed It in some ways.
Yeah.
They have some kind of artistic background.
But not in body paint.
And they get like a quick and dirty, like 30-minute...
Like how to use the airbrush and how to use the different like pasties for the models and stuff, I guess.
Yeah. But nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have to compete. And then they have 3 prior contestants that come
and act as mentors.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And each episode is basically a whole new season. It's like none of the people from the previous episode carry over.
They start with 6 people, and then they would get them down to 3, then 2, then 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 30 minutes.
And RuPaul hosts it.
Yeah.
Because RuPaul's got hands in everything.
He does.
And he is the appropriate pronoun because he's in a suit the whole time. Yeah, he does stay pretty busy. But Laura got an email or something from Netflix saying, hey, you've watched Skin Wars, you should watch this.
Yeah, definitely. So it was a total shock that it was there.
And we've also been watching the Holiday Baking Championship on Hulu.
Yeah, because Hulu on Black Friday had a deal where it was 99 cents a month for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I can afford that. So Food Network is one of my guilty pleasures, but I don't have cable. So this was a good way of getting my Duff Goldman fix without...
Oh, and the new All-Star season just started.
Drag Race All-Stars just started.
I am Latrice forever.
Yeah, Latrice is always my favorite.
I don't expect that she's going to win because a big girl's never won, but I love her lots and lots.
Yeah, I like her a lot. Stacey Lane Matthews is coming back for this episode this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, tomorrow night. So that'll be good.
Like to compete or?
No, she's creating a girl group. So, I don't know.
Alrighty.
They're doing something. And she's the correct pronoun for her because she's transitioned.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. I did not realize that. Yeah, I think that's basically what we've been watching. I have finished Zip Zada. That is not a word. Zip, nada, zilch.
When it comes to finished objects?
When it comes to finished objects.
I have a few things.
Well, that's not true. I finished a quilt for Laura.
That's right. I got a quilt. Here, I'm going to show you guys pictures. Because I have pictures on my phone.
When I started and I pieced all the top pieces, like all the, the pretty side of it together, it's always, it always looks huge. Like it's going to end up being a king-size thing. And then by the time I've sandwiched it and I've quilted it and I've put the binding on it, it's like lap size. It makes me sad. One day, Laura's going to get a huge friggin' quilt from me.
It's pretty, though. So this is it. Was posted to my Instagram. So there's the front. It's a flying geese pattern, and I love it. And then this is the back. It's not really been on my bed yet because we've had rain for like almost a week and a half straight. And Pearl's favorite thing to do is go outside, get muddy by digging holes, because that's what we do when we chase voles. And then come in, and before I can grab her, jump on the bed and roll. So, there's been lots of laundry going on at my house, but white quilts and puppy paws do not work out really well.
Made a request for the next quilt to not have white, which is smart.
Well, but I love my quilt. It's awesome. So some things that I finished. I'm on my Instagram, and then I'll also show you guys some pictures. So this was a hat that I knit out of another Crafty Girl Bulky in the Galactic colorway. I mistakenly called it Galaxy at first, and Ponky let me know that was not, very kindly let me know that was not correct. This is basically a rip off of the Malabrigo hand thingies or any slip stitch pattern. So the way that I did this, and I detailed this in this Instagram post, and I'm just going to read it aloud to you guys because someone asked me. I cast on 70 stitches on size 9 needles, and keep in mind that I'm a loose knitter. I worked 1.5 inches in 1x1 twisted rib. I switched to size 10 needles. I knit around, and then I did a round of slip 1, knit 6, repeated across. So it was a 7 stitch repeat. And then I just repeated those 2 rounds until I had 7 inches from the cast on edge, and then I did a series of center decreases to kind of get those slip stitches to meet, and wove in the ends. And it took around, I got it done within 24 hours. Not a huge time expenditure. It was a great last minute knit. Other things that
that Ice River hat?
Yeah. That I finished. These are pretty terrible pictures, but you'll see. This was the Ice River hat that I knit out of Malabrigo Mecca, thank you. And I did add an extra repeat to that. That was knit on size 8, I think. Does it say in there? I think it was on size 8s or 9s, and just down one size from whatever it calls for. And it's a really pretty stitch motif.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple to knit but high impact stitch motif.
And that was for one of my coworkers wanted it for his wife. So that was that. And then this was the Orbit shawl. I just laid it out on one of my tables in my library. I did like fancy table toppers for Teacher of the Year, not realizing it was me. I used my paper flower skills that we learned in one of our Patreon things. Mm-hmm. And so that's how it kind of looked laid out. That was the Orbit shawl out of Volmiza DK in the Limon colorway. It was knit on size 7 needles. So all 3 of those were
given away.
Yeah, they were given away. I had turned on my Do Not Disturb thinking it would keep text from coming through. Did not happen.
It just keeps it from making noise.
Yeah. So those were the 3 things that I finished. But you finished some spinning. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, but I also want to talk about another thing that I'm working on that I didn't put in the show notes because I'm lazy and forgot. Okay. But no, I'm also working on a weighted blanket.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you were doing that.
So
did you get more poly pellet things?
They're not here. It's not here yet, but yes, they'll be here tomorrow, I think. Sorry, I'm trying to find the top of this.
So you took bed sheets.
Yeah, I'm gonna. So
that seems like it's heavy.
It is. So it's meant for an adult size person. So that's what I ordered initially. I think I ordered like 14 pounds, and for an adult size one, the rule of thumb is 10% of the body weight. It differs a little for young kids, but you get these little pellets, these poly pellets. They can be clear or colored. It doesn't really make any difference. And then
because you're not gonna see them.
Yeah. So I measured out exactly how much I need, and then I drew a line around this cup.
Aww.
So I just fill it up for each little section. So you have to do a little math. And what I did was...
Do you want to go into what a weighted blanket is?
So a weighted blanket is... it's essentially a thin... The blanket material itself is usually a thin material, but it's tightly woven. And inside of the blanket itself are glass beads or poly pellets. Either way, they have to be washable. And
because it's going to be washed.
Right. But the idea behind a weighted blanket is if you've ever been to the dentist and they put the lead apron on you so they can take an x-ray. For me, when they put the lead apron on, it's very like relaxing. It's very soothing. It's kind of like how babies like to be swaddled. It's a pressure
or
sensory
like
thing.
How animals, those thunder coats, how they can work with that.
With anxiety and stress.
Yeah.
Well, this is the same principle. I know that it's used a lot in cases of kids with autism who are on the spectrum. Sometimes the pressure of the weighted blanket laying under them helps to calm them.
Part of a sensory diet.
Yeah. So,
which is not the type of diet that you eat.
Here we go. So, what I did was I didn't want to do any fancy like quilt top or anything because this is the first time I've ever made one. I just wanted to learn the process. So, I went to a local discount store. I went to several stores until I found something I liked. I just got some cotton flannel sheets. Cotton flannel is woven really tightly, so as long as it's a good quality, you don't have to worry about the beads coming through or slipping out or anything. I am personally very snobby when it comes to like microfiber sheets. I hate them, even though I'm sure they're like super easy care and
they just make you feel warmer, right?
It's a texture thing. I just don't like the way they feel.
Hence the need for the weighted blanket.
Right. So I took a sheet set and I cut the elastic out of the fitted sheet part and laid them on top of each other and just cut them down to size until they were the same size. This is a full sheet set, I think. And then I hemmed 3 edges the bottom and the two sides and left the top open, and then measured. So you measure across, and let's say it's 60 inches across, and then you measure from the bottom up, including your hem at the top. You'll have to fold it in and hem it. Let's say that's 60 as well. And then you take how much weight you need the blanket to be, and then you measure it by, I'm not going to do the math. I'll link you to how you can do the math. But basically, you figure out how much weight
you need per section.
You need in each little square.
Oh, look at that.
And
that's cool.
You start with the bottom. You sew tunnels up the quilt, and then you pour the poly pellets in, and you shake it until they go to the bottom, and then you sew across that row, and now they're sealed in. And then you do that over and over and over until you get to the top.
I think that I would only take this to like a laundromat to wash it, because I think it will beat up your washer.
It might.
Like it's so heavy.
Yeah, this one is going to be just over 20 pounds, which sounds ridiculous for a blanket, but you know, it's intended as almost like a therapy thing, so we'll see. But yeah, it's nothing. It's not super fancy, but it's washable, and
yeah. One of my friends, who's the art teacher at my school, makes these for people with children and
really?
Yeah,
that's
in
nice.
the area that need them. Yep.
I don't know if I'll keep this one because being flannel, it is a little warmer than just plain cotton, so we'll see.
Kobe might like it.
Kobe can't take care of things.
Oh.
So we'll see. But I'm excited to try it. It would be finished already if I had bought enough poly pellets.
Yeah.
To finish it, but I didn't, and I didn't realize that until I was about halfway through. So,
might be cool for your couch too when you're working, until you get too warm.
Yeah. That might be good for on-call week when everything's stressing me out.
Yeah, truth.
But anyway, yeah. Why don't you talk about your spinning while I put all this crap away?
I finished 4 projects, 4 little spinning projects. So I'm watching Leslie slam stuff
heavy,
over
dude.
there. I'm sure 20 pounds. So I finished. Let me do the Patreon prize for this month first. So I finished the Patreon prize for this month. It is a 3-ply. It is like an Aran bulky weight. It is a Rambouillet. It was a Hello Yarn club colorway called Hover, and I got 180 yards out of a 3-ply, out of 4 ounces, and it's got this really great intense purple in it, but also some great neutral browns. So I'm pretty happy with that. There are some areas where the plying got a little wonky because I was watching the Steelers-Patriots game. I'm not even gonna lie, and Leslie probably heard me. Leslie was over for part of it, and I was like super intense about it. So,
and I was like, I think I'm just gonna go somewhere.
Yeah, someplace else that is much quieter. So that is this past month's Patreon prize. We're gonna talk about Patreon a little bit more towards the end too, because there are some changes that we have to make on Patreon. And then where did I put it? For last month's, there it is, self-striping socks giveaway, I said as the prize it would be some core-spun Christmas lights, so I core-spun some Christmas lights today, and I did a little. It'll only be up, probably y'all won't see it because by the time this gets live,
tomorrow,
they have that 24-hour rule on the lives. But
Esther has a video, right?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. There's a really good video by Esther Rogers about a bunch of different art yarn techniques on interweave. And people have asked me to do tutorials, but because her video is so good, and because I basically use that video directly, I don't feel comfortable making a tutorial.
You don't do it differently enough for it to really...
it's not mine. So those are super cute, and I use them. Someone else today asked what I use them for. I actually have them on my mantle at home.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Christmas wreath outside my door that has them on them, and then I also have, last year for Christmas presents for people, I did kind of like deconstructed Christmas ornaments with these and some, did you get one? I can't remember if you did. And some ornaments and some tinsel all put in like a mason jar.
Yeah.
And then for SSK this year, I kind of did the same. I think we gave away 12 of them as part of the scratch-off tickets. So they're just like little fun happies. They make good, well, they're flexible. They're wire, so you can kind of put them anywhere. But you could use wire. Some people have knit them into like brims of hats and just tuck this in like a folded brim.
Oh, that's smart.
So if they bicycle at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty smart as well. I finished finally. I feel like I've been spinning on this forever. The Two Guys Superwash BFL Nylon Cashmere Camel Silk Blend. Smells good too. It's still a little bit damp because I washed it this morning before I went to court.
It does. It still smells woolly a little bit, but
yeah,
in a good way.
That's the Allure in the like wood scented.
Oh, okay.
I like it a lot actually. So I got 328 yards of a 2-ply. So it's like a sport DK weight. I might use it to knit another one of the Kirsten Kapoor shawls with like a secondary color.
Dwayne Park.
Yes.
You are all about the Dwayne Park.
Love it. It's like my favorite shawl to wear. It's a big enough shawl that like I can wrap it around, but it's not like crazy big. Although I think I might knit a fade this coming year. We'll see. We will see. I need
that
to
would
look
be
at the
cool
yardage.
to do with 2 fleeces, like of different colors, and where you slowly add ply, like 2 plies of a white and 1 ply of a brown, and then slowly reverse it.
That would be cool. Look at you and your good ideas.
Yeah, I've got lots of ideas. Just no drive to complete them.
I think I have a whole bunch of hand spun. I think I might do a hand spun fade. Because I have so many like 400 yards from 4, especially like Hello Yarn a lot of times has subtle color changes, so that might happen. And then the last spinning that I did, this is it's kind of dark, but it's a 2-ply from Three Waters Farms. It's a mixed BFL top. It's dungarees and flannel is the colorway, so it's kind of more of a neutral.
Yeah. I think it would work well with a contrast color.
Yeah. It's 300 yards. I think it'd be fun with like a bright red. You don't think?
It depends on the value of the red. Like whether it's a blue red or...
Yeah, like a blue red.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, that's just 300 yards.
I'm talking like I understand color theory. I totally don't.
There's, someone's got a color theory class on Blueprint. I think it's Franklin. I might watch over break.
Yeah, one of our teachers has got a color theory class.
Oh, yeah.
For SSK this coming year.
That's true as well.
That I may...
Tannis, I think, right?
I may sneak into, so...
Yeah, that might happen. This actually is almost identical color-wise to what I'm knitting.
They're similar.
They're very similar. So, yeah. So that's my spinning. I feel okay with that. I finished 12 ounces.
Finished a lot this week. And 3 projects.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of crafting. I'm like halfway into the second Kate Daniels audiobook, which I didn't add to the notes, but I'm listening to that as I craft, because I'm slowly re-listening to those.
Are you going to do the whole series?
Yeah. And my library has them, so I only bought the first. And then the later ones that I had bought previous, I'm Audible. So, yep. Slowly but surely. And then because I haven't listened to the last one yet.
It's really good.
Or read it, and I haven't done the Hue one either.
The Hue one, it took me a little while to get into it and decide that I cared about it.
Yeah.
But once I got into it, I was in it. But the last book of the Kate Daniels series was great.
Yeah, it's so funny because she posted a blog entry the other day because people keep asking her if she and her husband are getting a divorce, and that's why Kate ended. And she's like, no. We just...
Sometimes, after 10 books...
Yeah, she's like, here's 15 ways I described Unicorn Alley, and I'm just sick of it, basically. Like, there's no conflict still really out there to be resolved. Kate and Corinne's story arc has come to an end. Mm-hmm. And she did a lot of, like, side character books, too, that you forget about. Like Andrea.
Little novellas. Yeah.
Well, Andrea had a full book, and then there were some other, like, Julie had some novellas and some other stuff. You're facing me now.
I just figured, something different. I just wanted to get comfortable. So, I actually have spinning for 2 weeks in a row. That might be the first time that's happened in a long time.
That's exciting. And you have spinning... No, you took it from my house. I was going to say, you were going to work on something else in my house, spinning-wise. But you didn't. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now.
Okay. So...
I thought you were.
Our friend Jess... God... Bless America.
Little Hip Kitty?
Thank you. I can never remember her friggin' Ravelry name except when I see her in person, and that's all I remember, and I can't remember her actual name. My brain just...
She's got gorgeous sweaters. That's what I remember her for.
Yeah, so she...
And weaving.
She wove some absolutely gorgeous stuff and brought to SSK this past year, and so I weaseled my way into a handmade exchange with her. And... I spun 8 ounces of yarn for her, and she's gonna, and then I bought the yarn for...
Does she not spin?
She has a wheel, but it's just not a craft she gets around to doing.
Okay.
A lot.
She weaves a ton.
She does. So she bought this for me to spin, and it's by somebody I'd never heard of, created by LCB.
Yeah, she's on Instagram a lot.
And this one was called Candy Mountain.
It's really pretty.
And I was hoping to get like 600 yards of a 3-ply, and that did not happen.
It's a lot of yardage of a 3-ply, dude.
Of 8 ounces?
Still.
You could do it. You could probably get 1,000 yards.
No.
It's like sibling rivalry.
No.
So I got 460 yards, but once I washed it, it beefed up so much. Like, I don't know that this could be used, I mean, unless you do, like, DK weight socks, I just don't know that you could use this for socks.
I'm sure she'll love it and use it for something.
But I'm really, I'm happy
too.
with it. It came out really pretty. It's just, I wanted more yardage.
So how many yards did you end up getting?
460.
Yeah, I think that'd be a gorgeous shawl, too.
And it's got enough solid color in it that you could pair it with something else.
Oh, yeah.
If you wanted to. It's got a lot of this, like, purple, bluey purple. And then lots of teal and pink, and there's pops of green. It was really nice to spin. Like, it was prepared really well. So, thumbs up to the dyer.
LCB.
Yeah. And
she, like, promotes herself under, like, the handspun tag on Instagram.
Oh, does she?
And that's a tag that I follow.
Okay.
I love following tags on Instagram. If you don't follow tags on Instagram, it is an awesome thing to do.
But yeah,
sometimes you get some weird, crazy stuff, but a lot of times it's exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah. So this will go to Jess along with the yarn that I bought for the shawl she's going to weave for me.
Yeah, and her prize that she won.
Yeah. The two guys, or not two guys, the Leading Men Fiber Arts, I bought some really nice, like a silk blend from them when we went to SAF.
Yeah.
And so I'll send that to her, and then whenever she gets around to weaving it, I'm not in a hurry. I wanted to get this done because I don't like having obligations hanging over me, so that's done. It's pretty. I really enjoyed it.
So you should pick out something next to spin at my house.
I want to spin some fleece. Okay. So, and I've got tons of cleaned fleece, and I've even got a couple of fleeces that have already been carded, and they're ready to go. So I would like to spin some of my fleece, so that's what I'm going to do next, I think.
Cool.
I'll bring it with me when I come tomorrow, because tomorrow is All-Stars.
Tomorrow is All-Stars, but not till like 8 o'clock at night. But I'm off, so I don't care when you go.
Yeah, because Laura doesn't have to get up at 6 a.m. right now, so.
Yeah.
We do have a book review.
We do. So, we got a book from...
Irina.
Yeah, we need to scroll down.
Sorry.
It's really pretty. It's got a lot of cabled stuff in it.
Okay, so the book is Nautical, and it's by Irina Anakiva.
It's really pretty.
And the book is called Nautical. So let's pull this up.
Oh, there it is.
And I'm going to make this bigger.
So the cover shawl is my favorite piece from the book, actually. It's all accessories. It's an accessory collection. I think there's 9 accessories, maybe?
I'm going to just make this a little smaller so we can see more of it. Yeah, I believe it is 9 accessories. I will say all of the everything's clickable in this book, which is fantastic.
Yep.
I love it when books are made that way. Yes, it is an accessory collection. It is.
So there's a good number of hats, some 2 shawls, maybe 3. We'll have to see. Okay, so there's
hat, shawl, cap, shawl.
Hat, cowl, hat, wrap.
Yeah.
So 3 wraps, 2, 3, 4, 5 hats, and then a cowl.
Yeah. So again, everything's clickable. If I wanted to go directly to,
let's do it. Go directly to it. It also has a lookbook, which is really nice. Everything is pretty much highly cabled, except for the cover shawl.
Yeah, they have a lot of texture, which is great. So this is one. This book is set up so all the patterns are at the end and the beauty shots are at the beginning. So I'm going to go back because it's easier for the purposes of review to just
go through
show
the
you the lookbook.
Oh, you went too far.
Let's view this as a 2-page view.
There you go.
So yeah, so this is the Polaris hat.
It reminds me a little bit of like a Jared Flood type aesthetic. The way it's photographed. The colors used.
Oh, I love that it takes you directly to the thing. That's great. Oh, well, I don't want to give away the secret sauce. So let's go back up. So we've got the Polaris hat, which is a beautifully cabled, really intricate, but something that you can wear forever and be proud of.
Definitely.
Then we've got the rope work hat, which is
a little less intricate in the cabled.
Yeah, but still really cool. It's got different.
This is the rope.
Different sized cables and different textures and how they go around and through and into each other. It's almost like a braid.
This is a book that you need to have some chart reading ability in order to be effective with it.
You would have to be a
charted patterns.
Adventurous beginner to pick this one up.
Well, there aren't written instructions, I believe.
Yeah.
It's just charted.
So that's more pictures of the rope work hat. Really, really pretty. Then we've got the Latine shawl, which is the cover shawl.
That's my favorite.
I agree. So you've got texture with the garter stitch with the contrast color. It almost looks like a piping along the sides of the main color. And then you've got this beautiful lace detail that comes in
and
as
it's
well.
a larger shawl, which is nice.
Yeah. And I think she chose some beautiful colors. Sometimes when designers knit their samples, you question their, whether they just use their favorite colors or whether they use the most effective colors. And this definitely is an effective color combination.
Or what yarn they could get for free.
Yeah, that's true. This is the ladder cap.
I like that
I
lot.
do too. It's not a great picture there, but we'll go into it further. But yeah, it's got these sections that go straight up and then texture in between.
It's the same texture that's on the shawl.
Yeah.
So you can see that a little bit more clearly there.
Yeah.
So there is cable with some additional texture.
Yeah, nice, simple but effective pattern, shawl pattern. And then we've got, oh crap, I went past the thing because I zoomed in too much. Sorry. The buoy hat. This one is probably the least intricate of the hats that are in here, but I do like how it's got the reverse stockinette in these little peekaboo panels of all the different crossed over cables.
It's almost like a smocked look.
Yeah, this is definitely one where you really want to know how to chart read. I wouldn't want to try to deal with that in a written pattern. Make your head explode. And this is the Bell's cowl. Sorry, it's
set up separately.
Yeah, it's the way the page layout. It's tricky. But yeah, the Bell's cowl has got all these cables along with that same texture coming through the center.
Yep.
Here of sort of offset
like a winding
size
road
cables.
type.
Yeah. And then you've got that reverse stockinette background as well. And then the Windrose hat. Again, this is one with that reverse stockinette in the background. This one almost looks sort of Tree of Life-ish.
Yeah, a little bit.
How everything comes together at the top of the crown here. I know that takes some careful planning. So I think that one would be really fun to do. Of the hats in the book, I think this is the one I would be most likely to do. Because the cabling is heaviest at the crown, and I think the way that the hat slouches would be flattering.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, here's
That's really pretty at the crown.
A better picture of how everything comes together at the crown here. That takes some careful planning, so I think that's a really cool detail.
Effective design
of this hat. Then we've got the tourist wrap, and that's the final pattern in the book. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you get a better.
It's extremely cabled.
Yeah, that's going to be a yarn eater, but my favorite part of this is the edge here. She didn't just go for an I-cord edge, she went for like
a cabled edge.
A cabled twisted rope edge. And that is super cool. I've not seen that before. I've seen these elements in different places, but not together, and I've never seen this twisted rope edge before. So I'm stoked about that. I want someone to make that for me.
Keep asking. See
what
happens.
Right? Can't hurt. So, sorry, I'm trying to get this to where I'm not giving away secret sauce here. So the back is set up how a lot of interweave magazines are set up, where all the patterns are here in the back. Like,
well, there are written instructions.
There are written instructions, but
it's not just charted.
I would definitely prefer charts over written instructions when it comes to really heavily cabled
and
stuff.
And everything has nice schematics.
Yeah, where it's got sizing and all that. And each pattern has its own legend, which is very helpful. You don't want to have to flip
so you don't have to
back and forth. Yeah. And then again, with the clickability, you can go straight from here to the Ravelry page.
For that pattern.
For the pattern. Cool. So that's really cool. As well as the knit along.
She's doing a knit along thread.
For each one.
So that would probably have some helpful information.
Yeah,
as well.
I think it's a really well planned and thought out book. I really like her design aesthetic. I don't typically knit things with that many cables, but it is beautifully done, and that's a personal preference.
So what's the pricing on this book? This was gifted to us to review.
Yes, this was sent to us by the author, Irina Anakiva, to review. Let me turn that off.
Hey, that's us again.
It is us again. We're amazing. So, let me go out here and click and see. Because I did not prepare well and actually write down the price.
Usually we do.
Because I'm silly. Okay. So, the Nautical book, which includes all 9 patterns, is $24.
So if you are very into cables, or if you liked probably around 3 patterns in that book, it would.
Yeah, and that $24 is for the print and the ebook.
Oh.
You can also buy the patterns individually if that's what you prefer.
That's cool.
So that's a nice little extra, because not all books are set up that way.
And can you purchase those on Ravelry or just through her website?
So let's take a look here.
Just if you scroll down a little bit.
You can't see us struggling here, but we are struggling a little bit.
There you go. Just
all right.
On that.
So you can buy them individually, and you can buy the PDF version directly on Ravelry, I think. Let's see. Nope, you can't. You can buy the individual patterns on Ravelry, but the whole book itself you buy from the author's website. We are going to host a giveaway for this book. So it'll be a print and an e-copy to whoever wins. And then we'll draw a second place winner, and they'll win one pattern of their choice from the book.
Oh, cool. On Ravelry.
Yeah. So the prompt will just be which
of her designs do you prefer?
Right. And that's out of all of her designs, not just this book. You know, maybe cables aren't your thing.
So what's your favorite design by her?
And we'll include a link directly to her project, her designer page, so you can see all of the different patterns.
Yeah.
We do appreciate when indie authors reach out to us, because we're always happy to spread the word. Designers, sorry, reach
They're
out
authors,
to us.
Yeah.
So again, that was Nautical by Irina Anakiva. I'm sorry if I'm saying any part of that name incorrectly. I'm a terrible human being, and I speak the American English, so anyhow, that will be our giveaway for this week, and we'll draw a winner. We'll probably let that go on, since we're recording so late this week, we'll probably let that go on until episode 422.
Yep, which will be after the new year.
Yeah. So
we will record next week and the following week, but no promises as to when.
Yeah. We
Holidays
have a new
are crazy.
Nomadic Knits to review as well.
I know, the new New York issue.
Yeah. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah. So I just have one book that I'm really reading, or that I read today. So I went to court today for my going through a yellow light, and before I went, I called and I was like, hey, can I take a book to read? And she was like, no one's ever asked me that before. Let me check. And she checked, and she's like, that's fine. So when I was in court for 2.5 hours waiting my turn this morning, I finished Lou. So this was off of my to-read list, my to-read pile for work. I've read all the books in this series. It's by Jason Reynolds. So Ghost was the first one, Patina's the second, Sunny's the third, and Lou is the fourth. Lou is albino. His parents are African-American. And he kind of fronts that with daily affirmations about how he's the man, and he's got gold chains and diamond earrings, but on the inside he's struggling. He's been bullied before, and to make matters a little worse, it opens with he's always been the only child. His parents were told that they couldn't have any more kids. Well, mom's pregnant, and it's kind of a surprise. So there's some changes going on in his conflict, and his dad, who is kind of his hero, he finds out did not do something that was super heroic. So that kind of fallen hero also comes into play. These are sports books in that all the characters in them run track, but they're just really, really well written. I really like Jason Reynolds' word choices that he makes, how he describes things. And the first book, Ghost, is about a boy whose father is put in prison because he gets drunk one night and tries to kill Ghost and his mother with a gun. And the second book, Patina, is about a girl who is living with her aunt and uncle because her mom's diabetic and she's lost, I think, both her legs. And so she wasn't able to take care of them. And Patina kind of stepping up for her younger sister, but also trying to be a kid, but also struggling with, like, she still sees her mom, so there's different rules at, like, aunt and uncle's house, than mom's house. And then Sunny, I think, is my favorite. Lou's up there too, but Sunny is about a boy whose mom passes away when he's very young, and she was, like, Olympic level runner, so his dad really wants him to be a mile distance runner, and Sunny just wants to dance. And so living up to that choice between living up to parents' expectations, but or being your true authentic self, is really, really good. And Sunny's homeschooled, so in this book they have like a yearbook that they're looking through, and they're like, "What?" And Ghost comes up and he's like, "Why are we looking through a yearbook?" And Patina's like, "Because Sunny's never seen one before." And they tell Sunny he should make a yearbook of just, like, pictures of him doing cool stuff. So it's just really, really well written, and it doesn't. This is the last book in the series. I was sad to see it end, but it is a middle grade book. Probably ages 8 to 12 probably, but obviously you can read it if you're older and enjoy it, because I have. And when you line up all the spines of the hardcovers, it creates a track and all the kids are running on it, which is really cool. It looks nice on my shelf, which makes me super happy too. Not that they're ever in, because in my library they are always out. I book talk them a lot too, but they are always out. There's always a wait list for Ghosts especially. So, yeah, so that's what I've been reading. I have a stack of 15 books that I'd like to get through over break, but I don't think all that's going to happen. I have 14 days off. I wish it would, but I'm going to try to put a little bit of a dent in it, because I've been slacking a little bit on my reading. So what have you been reading? You have a big, long list.
I've been listening mostly, so I listened to 2 books that were included in the romance package on Audible. They're both male. One of them is Saint Nacho's, and it was okay. It's Saint Ignacio something or whatever that they just call Saint Nacho's.
Okay.
And then the other was Drawn Together, which was surprisingly good. I didn't expect a lot out of it because I'd never read anything by that author before, but it was surprisingly good.
Oh,
so
good.
And the final book in the Throne of Glass series,
yeah,
Kingdom of Ash,
I need to buy it for my library. My kids
in October
are going to want it.
And I can't remember pretty much what's happening, so I started over.
Those are big books,
too,
but this new one is huge. It's like 1,000 pages or something.
So I'm listening versus reading, and altogether it's over 150 hours. The first book is my least favorite because it's where she's sort of like
that's the only one that I've read.
The youngest and the whiniest, and it gets on my nerves. Like, she goes through a lot in the following books, and so she matures as even her internal dialogue is much more mature. So I prefer the later books, even though they're not as happy. So I'm on the second one now.
Okay.
And then as far as actual reading, I read Chase the Dark. It's a 6-book series. It's on Kindle Unlimited. It's by the collection is called Steel and Stone. Chase the Dark's the first one. I started the second one last night. I can't remember what it's called, but it's paranormal. There's daemons, which I guess are daemons. I don't really know the difference between the two, but they're people who have the ability to mask their true appearance, and like fae in stories can mask their appearance, and they can interbreed with humans. And so when a demon and a human have offspring, that offspring is called a Haman.
Okay.
And then there's rules about when Hamans interbreed and what happens then. And anyway, it's it looks to be a love triangle, although nothing has happened at all besides a kiss so far, and I'm midway through the second book, so it's interesting, so that's a positive. And I also read Sin and Chocolate by...
I like that.
You like Sin and Chocolate?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the second
one comes out like next month.
Yeah.
I just reread it because I saw the second one was coming out. I read it when it first came out, like 2 months ago.
I hadn't. I like K.F. Breene, but I hadn't read that one.
So it's like a demigod
in San Francisco.
Yeah, who's from Ireland originally, and the main character is a woman who's struggling to make ends meet and is kind of...
She's living in the in-between, between like human only and then magic.
But she's been taught to hide her powers, which are basically conversing with the dead. And his mother was a Selkie who his father basically murdered by hiding her skin.
Yeah,
so he's trying to get her to speak with his mother to see where the skin's hidden.
Right. So she can rest in peace, essentially.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
He's an anti-hero for sure.
Bully, drunk on power, that sort of thing.
But she's very good at bringing him back down to earth.
Yeah, she's
strong.
She's very Kate Daniels in her I'm not going to take your crap kind of...
Yeah, she's a strong female protagonist, for sure.
So, yeah. So, I liked that one a lot. I wish more books in the series were already out, but I understand that takes time.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where it's going. It's not going to be one where you can jump in, like, to the second book and understand what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much, that's what I'm reading most of this break, the Christmas break. Even though I'm working the whole time, everybody in our, like, corporate team, the people who create work for me are not.
Off.
So I've got stuff I need to do during this time, but also it's less stressful, so...
That'll be good.
I'm hoping
and you're not on call, right?
I'm not on call until, like, the third week of January.
Oh, that's good.
So... yeah, so Patreon.
We have a drawing for this week, correct? Or did you not do it?
I can do that while we're talking.
Okay.
It won't take long. Sorry, let me get to the first slip stitch on
No,
this.
you're fine.
So, we apparently are not in accordance with Patreon's terms of service. We didn't realize that. It's not an intentional thing, and it's easy to fix.
Yeah. A lot of people are not
right.
in accordance with their terms of
service.
But
we're not snitching on other people.
Yeah.
But
no. Because I told my father this, and he was like, well, the 4 podcasts that I follow are not in accordance with that.
And I think it's just something they've recently started enforcing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it recently changed in their terms of service. I'm not sure. But basically, you are not allowed to host any kind of raffle or giveaway where not every single person in existence can somehow enter without paying money. Like, if you think about all the giveaways that big companies do.
Like McDonald's.
Yeah. There's always a no purchase necessary. You can write in somewhere and you can get an entry that way. But because of how we do Patreon, the giveaways for, like, the hand spun and are from our prize bucket and stuff, it's because you donate, we're putting you in that bucket, but that is not within their terms of service anymore. So after this drawing, we can't do that anymore.
We can probably still do it we can do it on our own for December. It just can't be on the site. Like, because we're in December now.
Mm-hmm. Of people that have already pledged.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it in January because I don't want people to be like, we pledged for 2 weeks. But we have to take it off Patreon site. We can't have it on there anymore.
So we have to think of other ways to entice you and thank you for donating.
So if you guys have any ideas, we'd love to hear them.
One of the things that we talked about, do you want to go through really quick what we talked about earlier with, like, a newsletter or...
Yeah, we talked earlier about adding some content, whether it's a Q&A where you submit questions beforehand and we do, like, a short 10 to 15 minute video that would be available for Patreon supporters on that level and above to view. We've talked about doing either a newsletter or another small video that goes through, like, what we are seeing as upcoming trends or new products coming out,
like
or
our top 10 favorite new patterns,
or
cool new gadgets we found, or things like that.
So some additional content options. We don't really want to it's not, we're still gonna do the nailed it.
Yeah.
And for all our Patreon sponsors,
Any
so that
level.
content's still gonna stay the same. I don't like the idea of adding content just for specific levels, but without being able to do the drawings, I'm not sure what else we can do.
Yeah, we're totally open to ideas.
Yeah, so let us know.
Yeah.
We just can't do drawings anymore. So just some things to think about. New content is not a big deal, but we also have full-time jobs that are not, so we won't be able to host, like, weekly knit nights or something like that.
It's not feasible, and our regular podcast would suffer as a result.
Yeah, that's true.
Not that you'd be able to tell. Because we're so professional.
But we are open to definitely some new ideas, so just let us know if you can think of something or that you've seen from somewhere else.
It just can't be us giving away a physical item. Yeah. Like...
It can't be a drawing of any kind.
Right. All right, open with Google Sheets.
So, just some things to think about with that. We also have the self-striping sock knit along to from last month draw for. We'll do one more, and then that'll be it for that. We're not gonna continue with that into the new year, mainly because we've failures.
Been so terrible that we haven't done any of them.
I've loved promoting indie dyers who do self-striping, but I think next year I'm gonna go back to doing the Desert Vista Dye Works one to some degree. Maybe not for the full year, but to some degree, and get my sock mojo back in where it needs to be.
Okay, so
I need to pull something from behind me, don't I?
Oh, yes, for the
yarn
giveaway, yeah.
And then the fiber is what I
That's
spun.
pretty. Let's do that.
That is pretty. That's actually on my list of things to knit. Oop, I'm caught.
All right, so excuse my fat roll here. I can't be bothered at the moment. So first thing that we're gonna do is draw for the Laura's hand spun.
Okay.
And
so it's this one.
I need you to please pull up a random number generator.
I can do that.
And this is going to be for anyone who donated on the $3 level. And
random.org.
And we're going to choose between numbers 28 to 74. And we need one selection between numbers 28 and 74.
Okay, that's going to be 37.
Right, 37 is Dorothy Monica, D-Dorf, who has been to SSK before. I remember
awesome.
her. All right, let me color this in so that I don't forget it, because otherwise I totes will.
And then the next one's 75?
No, because there's a header line.
Okay.
So the next one will be 76 through 147, and that will be for this at 6s and 7s. This was the SSK colorway last year.
Striper
from Fishnets. And it
knits
up really pretty.
Yeah, 135. Yeah, you've knit that one. I still need to knit it.
Eloise knit it too. It turned out really pretty.
Yeah, 135.
Is Genevieve O'Shea. Let me pull this up. Genevieve is in Quebec.
Oh, cool.
So, awesome, Genevieve. I'm going to highlight you, and we will get this out to you as soon as possible. It might be a week, or it might be 3 weeks. It's just whenever I manage to get it to you. But it's free stuff, yo!
Yay!
So we'll get this sent out to you, and this is the hand spun, right?
Yep.
For the prize. I'm doing this mostly because I'm going to go back and I'll be like, what did this person win? So that's what this person won. Because I'm terrible at taking notes.
Alright, so, if you want to pull up Ravelry.
And we're going to do
the self-striping sock from November.
Okay.
Under TheKnitGirlls.
Sorry, I'm going to add window capture. And I'm going to do Ravelry so people can see.
Yay!
Edit
there we are.
And
it's
make this
loading.
Friggin' huge!
Yay!
Cover me up. You can just watch.
Hey! That's fine.
Alright, so we're going to go to November self-striping.
Yeah.
So it's going to be between 2 and 14.
That's going to be... Oh,
and what is this person going to win?
So the Correspond Christmas lights.
Okay.
So these right here. There you go.
And that's going to go to between 2 and 14? What number are we
choosing? So 3. That's pretty easy.
3 is Scrunt. No. Scrun.
I feel like she's won before.
Scrun.
That's exciting.
No.
SCR1TNO.
No, I don't know. Sorry. Sweet Sparrow yarns in the Kabam colorway. Oh, she's from the UK.
Oh, cool.
Caterham, Surrey.
Ooh, I don't know about shipping lights overseas. I don't know, because they've got batteries on. Would it do something? I don't know
think
how that
so.
works.
Surely that can't be the only
It'll
thing.
be fine.
I'll ask Michael. He'll know.
Michael knows everything. If it's not, then I'll spin you something else.
The second of only 2 yarns she had to purchase for the night.
Oh,
I think that means she's done them all.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Whoa. We're going to have to go through and draw a special prize for anybody who's done them all.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So, congratulations. I'm sorry, no, whatever the crap. Sharon. So, Sharon, if you will please send me, Leslie, an email at youdon'tcallmeless@gmail.com.
I like that red line running through my face.
I'm turning it off.
Amazing.
You're so fussy.
I am. That's been said about me many a time.
So, yeah, so just email me with your address and remind me that you won the correspond lights, and we'll get that in maybe another.
We need to do the Fiber Friends thing with Michael.
I know. He was supposed to be off this week.
Is he not now? What happened there? Just life.
I can shorten it to basically people who said work was done. It was not done, and so now he's having to do 3 times the amount of work. I could go into detail,
but no one
because
cares.
I have to listen to it.
Oh.
But yeah, it's basically he's changing servers from 2010 version to 2016 version, and changing DNS. Like, he's not using DNS anymore. It's using something called info blocks, which sounds like crap to me. Anyway.
It sounds like something that you build with.
I know, right? It sounds like somebody who made that decision got a kickback. But, because why would you not use DNS? Anyway, so he is off next week for sure, so hopefully we'll be able to do that. And, Jesus, this episode's like an hour and 20 minutes long. It's ridiculous.
That's okay. Actually, that's our holiday gift to you. Yeah. More of us.
Sorry about it. But yeah,
we'll see y'all next week.
We'll see you guys in less than a week. Probably we'll record, because we are having knit night the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
So we'll record sometime next week. So we hope you guys have a lovely holiday, and we will talk to you again soon.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.